What's up? Today we're putting together a DVC 7-inch kit, full aluminum build for a buddy of mine. This is the Airsoft Masterpiece blowback unit that comes with this DVC kit. We're not using it, we're using an edge blowback unit. Same manufacturer, but for some reason there are different tolerances with the stock one. So today we're using a Garter Nozzle. I've seen mixed reviews on the Garter Nozzle. I mean, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I haven't had any issues before, so we're just trying it in this build and seeing how it goes. Just installing the valve, the spring, the hold down, and make sure not to over tighten the screw for the hold down because the hold down's plastic and that'll strip really easily. And just when lubricating the nozzle, I usually just lubricate the O-ring and then test it out and spread it out like this because you don't want to over oil your nozzle because that'll end up in your bucking in your barrel. So we're using the 140 AIP nozzle spring. And just testing it, make sure it's not caught up on anything. And so this is the Airsoft Masterpiece brass Hopup. I mean, it's generally one of the best Hopups out. I have never really had an issue with Airsoft Masterpiece Hopup. So, I mean, these have been pretty consistent in all my builds. And this is the 9-ball 7-inch barrel with a 9-ball bucking. I usually Teflon tape between the bucking and the barrel. It just makes a bit of a better air seal, and this is the Teflon tape that I use. And remember to line up that nub with this slot on the Hopup. That way your bucking is lined up. Install the Hopup wheel and Hopup arm. And the inner barrel goes almost just about right to the end of the compensator, which should help with a higher FPS. So the guide rod for this comes with the kit. It's Airsoft Masterpiece as well, and it's 2-piece and threaded. And the spring we're using is a 130% Waldo Customs. I like to just put a little bit of thread locker on the guide rod threads just so it stays, because it'll 100% come loose while you're shooting the gun. Check operations, everything's smooth. So now we're going to start on the frame. So this is the actual hammer housing. So this is the valve knocker and this is the sear. So the valve knocker is what'll hit the back of the valve on the mag, and the sear will release the hammer. So this is the hammer we're using. We're using a 5KU Limcat style hammer. I like to grease the hammer where the post goes, and see the post comes out and it installs with the hammer on into the hammer housing. Just checking it, making sure it functions properly before I put it back into the gun or into the frame. So this is the valve knocker lock and valve knocker lock spring, and this is the disconnector. Disconnector sits like this. This is how this spring for the valve knocker lock will sit. It's kind of hard to show you how it goes in because you have to hold down the spring, or else you're gonna lose it. It'll go flying, and if you don't hold it down the entire time, you're not gonna find it. So you want to make sure you hold it down, and it just kind of slides right into the frame, and just make sure that the valve knocker actually works and the spring's returning it back up. And this connector can just go in like this. It can go before or after, but this is a little bit easier. And so this hammer housing is actually really simple. The big pin goes in their respective hole, and a small pin goes in their respective hole, and that's literally it. That's the only way the hammer housing sits in. And it's super easy to take out. And that's about it with the hammer assembly. So this is the plunger for the thumb safety, or the detent. So small one goes first. Then the spring. And then the larger detent goes last. So we're using an Airsoft Masterpiece Type 8 grip. We're going with the speed trigger on an AIP trigger ring. So trigger just slides in, make sure it's free, and it returns by itself. It shouldn't be getting caught up in anything, shouldn't feel like there's drag. And this is the mag release that goes in. This comes with the grip. And so there's a little dowel that you have to push down and turn in order to take it out. And this is the extended piece that goes in. This is the plunger for the hammer housing spring. And this is what it'll look like outside the hammer spring housing. So when installing it on the frame, you want to make sure you don't get it caught underneath the trigger ring, because the gun will not function. You want to make sure to maybe put it on an angle and pop it down like this. I like to just install the grip screws just to hold everything together while I'm assembling everything else. This is a Cow Trident sear spring. And the middle prong sits on the sear, and the right prong sits on the disconnector. The left prong is just for the grip safety, so you don't really have to worry about how that sits. If you adjust that at all, it makes the grip safety harder or easier to press down. Installing the magwell pin. Magwell pin has to sit at a certain point. It'll just kind of pop in. You don't want it to be free or it'll just fall out. So this is the thumb safety. This post goes right here to hold down the grip safety, and the second part goes right here. Make sure your hammer is down, because if you install this with the hammer up, it won't work, it won't function. And you got to make sure the thumb safety is up when installing it. It has to be at upright position, like the slide lock position. And you can hold down the detent pin like this, and the thumb safety will just pop in. Just making sure the thumb safety functions. When it's up, the trigger will not work. When it's down, you're good. Install the last screw from the frame to grip. And that's basically the entire lower, and that's it for the lower. I just like to also grease the rails. You want to lubricate the slide function. I like to grease the rails and a part of this portion where the guide rod will sit. You want to reduce the amount of metal on metal contact because it'll just kind of cause more wear. Just checking operation works, and you're probably wondering what these, and it works. You're probably wondering what these two holes are. It's actually for the sight mount. This is a Airsoft Masterpiece STI sight mount and a Seymour red dot sight. These are the screws and then the washers that'll go on. And that's basically it. That's this is a Hi-Capa, an expensive Hi-Capa. So I'll just say I don't consider myself a tech. I'm not super experienced. This is all trial and error. This is all me teaching myself, forums, watching YouTube here and there. I'm not gonna get everything right, and this is mostly just my opinion of what I select on parts or what I prefer to do. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I can try to help you out, but if you enjoyed the video, feel free to please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'll probably do more videos like this. I mean, unless you guys don't want to see it, then I will not do any more. Yeah, that's about it. Feel free to watch my other videos. It's your boy, SadBoiTofu. Peace.